All right, good. I'm gonna make sure you retweet, Nicholas. Right, the people need to know. The people
Yes.
need to know. Oh man, fucking headache, absolutely killing me.
Oof.
But had a wonderful day at the zoo, Nicholas. Had a wonderful day with my daughter at the
Oh.
zoo. Built some Legos. We had a day, and now we get to talk to the people. This is really one of my favorite parts of the week, Nicholas. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, listeners of all ages, Dork Shared Universe and Geeks Worldwide Radio proudly presents to you the greatest, I mean the greatest, the comic cover gracing podcast team in the world. He's the Fry guy, Nick Friar. I'm the backcracker, Dr. Joe. And together we are the TLDR Comic Book Club, baby.
Yeah, damn right. And you know what, Joe? I think that we need to have our names changed, our nickname in the DSG. We need to, they like to call us the book boys. We're the book cover boys. That's what we should
Yeah,
be referred to as
we're the
from now
cover
on.
boys.
Yes.
Cover boys. Yeah.
Yep, that's two. Well, no, covers like then it's like cover that could be cover band
Oh,
kind of
true.
thing. I can see the music guys in the
We're like the
DSG.
Kate Upton and the Tyra Banks of the DSG.
There
You
you
know,
go.
just gracing covers.
That's it, exactly. Yes, and for those wondering, if you follow us on Instagram, you wouldn't be wondering because Joe shared it over there. We mentioned before how we're featured on the cover of the trade for Year Zero, and then we're also featured on the back cover of Red Zone, the trade paperback of that by friend of the show, Cullen Bunn. That just came out this past week. Joe and I picked those up as well. I'm still waiting to get Year Zero from you. I'm going to be doing that soon. Very excited to get my
See
hands
you Saturday.
on that one. Yes, sir. But yeah, so that's two for us now in a very short time. So very exciting stuff for us. But that's just us tooting our own horn, patting our own backs. We're here for you, the people. Which is to remind you all too. Make sure you subscribe to the show on our audio channels. Of course, it's great if you subscribe on YouTube. If you watch us on Twitter, X, whatever the fuck you want to call it, that's great too. Definitely subscribe to us on YouTube. But the most important place is our audio channel. So that's Apple, Spotify, Geeks Worldwide Radio, SoundCloud, Amazon. Leave a 5-star rating review on Amazon. Wherever else you're listening, make sure you leave the highest rating you can in a nice review. Otherwise, you're going to learn the real meaning of backcracker if it's anything less. The reason that I say that is if you're listening to us on our audio channel right now, or if you're catching us on one of our streams, you see that we're doing a new comics only episode. That usually means something. Can't tell you what it means because we don't have it in the hopper at the time we're recording this, but it's important. So this will be out on Wednesday. Something else maybe coming later, but you won't find out unless you have the audio channels or if you follow us on Twitter. But follow us on the audio channels. It gets right to your listening device. Then you are all set to check that out. Very excited about that. Also want to just put out a notice that, again, another reason to follow us on the audio channels throughout the majority of September, you're only going to be able to listen to us because I am going to be traveling abroad. Actually, so is Joe, as much as he wants to give me shit for it. 2 of the weeks I'll be away on my honeymoon, and then Joe is doing his normal yearly annual trip to the north to do his charity work to help Canadians learn how to speak English.
Yeah. I teach him how to swear properly.
Yes, gonna go hang out with Jeff Lemire.
Yeah.
Do you have your
Wouldn't
Blue
that be
Jays hat on
something?
again?
Say it again.
Do you have your Blue Jays hat on again?
I sure do.
Okay, I
Yeah,
don't know
I'll
if that
turn
was
around.
a Royals.
I had the top button here. This was
Uh huh.
down. I felt like that was a little too much, but maybe that'll bring in the female. But here, you wanna,
There we go. Oh yeah, look at that. Yeah, that's
yeah,
the good
there we
stuff
go,
right
baby.
there.
It
Yes,
sure is.
we'll make sure we put that out there for Jeff to hopefully someday we can get him on the show because he's one of our white whales at the moment. But anyways, we digress, Joe. It's time to talk about all the books that came out this week. Actually, getting ahead of myself, we got to do a little catching up. We had a lot of books to read that are new this week. Did you get to read anything that you've been behind on?
No, it was a busy weekend. I had every intent to do so, but then I got into a Zelda Tears of the Kingdom sort of
Ooh.
rabbit hole. So I was playing the shit out of that this weekend instead of doing my regular reading.
Yeah, no, that'll happen. I'll tell you what. I just downloaded recently Lord of the Rings: Rise to War. It's a mobile game. It's kind of like roller coaster tycoon esque, where you're trying to like build out this your like empire and stuff like that. It's it's pretty awesome. It's been around
Did
for
you
like a year, I guess.
did you have to build your fucking barrel riding track?
I don't know what
You
the
know,
hell. Oh, jeez. No, not like that. But you may want to check it out. You're gonna get it. I'm very much into it right now. But I did get a chance to catch up on a couple things and read a lot of the books that came out this week. Death of the Venomverse issue 2 and Wild's End issue 3. Wild's End again is like a different story from everything else, different pacing and everything. I'm still into it through 3 issues right now. Again, I don't know that it's TLDR worthy. I think I need to see the whole thing through, but I'm having a good time. I'm enjoying it month to month. And then Death of the Venomverse, I mean, that's just off the fucking chain. Colin's doing a great job with it. I'm drawing a blank on who the artist is for that, and shame on me. But it's the art in this series is friggin' outstanding to all the designs. Gerardo Sandoval, awesome stuff. So I know. Have you read the first issue of that?
no, I have to. I have to. It's in my to-do pile.
I wonder if I should call dibs on this because
I mean, you can. I mean,
yeah,
why not? Right?
yeah, yeah, no, because it's like it doesn't feel like something I can. I can talk in depth about this. Dibs on Death of the
Okay. There we
Venomverse.
go. Okay.
Yep. Okay. Needed to think
There
that
you
through.
go.
All right. Awesome. All right. Enough of that though, Joe. Let's get to what's new. We got some trades out this week, don't we?
Yeah, from Image Comics, we have What's the Furthest Place from Here, Volume 2, and Ordinary Gods, Volume 2. That is one that I will be sinking my teeth into because that's a book for me. Like, I love the story, but it just, it was very sporadic in its release, and it is a story that is not, you really got to be all in, right? And
Mm-hmm.
so for me, like, this lends itself perfectly to reading the graphic novel, so I can't wait to catch up and read this. From DC, we have Wonder Woman Black and Gold. We have Detective Comics Volume 5, The Joker War. And we have Batman and Robin by Jeff Lemire. So all those books collected in a trade. That was wonderful. I believe the artist on that was um oh Jesus. I just had a fucking senior moment, but it's beautiful because it's in watercolor. It's the same artist that worked with him on Little Monsters.
Okay.
Um,
Nice.
and it's eluding me, and I apologize for that greatly. From Dynamite, we have Red Sonia issue volume 1, Mother by Mirka Andolfo. This was a
Mm.
great series. And then from Boom, we have Mighty Morphin Power Rangers Recharged volume 2.
Okay, nice. Yeah, I mean, I've said all the time, the Mighty Morphin Power Ranger stuff is all of it's been awesome for quite some time now. Definitely worth reading if you were a fan of the shows as a kid and can't bear to go back and watch the old stuff because you realize it doesn't hold up that well. This stuff does though. The comics are outstanding.
So from Marvel, the week of 8/23, let's go, baby!
Hmm.
Finally, a toned down week from Marvel, but there's some sneaky books in here I didn't get a chance to read this week, but I'm kind of geeked up to read.
Hmm.
Um, we have the Amazing Spider-Man issue 32. We have Venom issue 24, X-Force issue 43, Fantastic Four annual, Deadpool issue 10, the Invincible Iron Man issue 9. This next one I'm looking forward to, the Immortal Thor issue 1, written by Al Ewing. We have
Ooh.
Star Wars Dr. Aphra issue 35. Another number one that I'm looking forward to, Jean Grey issue 1. We have Moon Knight City of the Dead issue 2. Another one which, when I first saw it, I thought this is a fucking knockoff of a book that's ending this week from DC, but it's different enough. And that's Realm of X issue 1. So I
Hmm.
definitely want to check that out. We have Daredevil and Echo issue 4, Black Panther issue 3, Storm issue 4, Captain America finale issue 1, Planet of the Apes issue 5, and Marvel Unleashed issue 1.
So I haven't looked at Realm of X yet either, but I do intend to read it. I agree with you on the sense of like don't make it exactly like Dark Knights of Steel, but at the same time, like as long as it's like I don't care if it's set like in a Middle Ages type thing or high fantasy type thing, that's fine with me. Just don't make it a carbon copy where it's like, kingdoms at war and manipulation and blah blah blah. Don't get too close to what Tom Taylor's done over there. And also speaking of that too, Dark Ages by Tom Taylor over there. Oh, I wish we got more of that. That was awesome.
The artist was Dustin Wynn. I knew it.
Okay.
I knew the last name, couldn't think of the first name, Dustin Wynn.
That was for Lemire.
Okay. That was for the mere Batman and Robin. Yes.
Gotcha. Okay, awesome. Now moving over to sorry, it's been a while since we talked about that one. Then from DC, speaking of Batman and Robin, we got Batman the Brave and the Bold issue 4, Batman Beyond Neo Gothic issue 2, DC and how do you say it, Joe?
I believe it's Ruby.
Ruby issue 7, The Penguin issue 1, which a friend of the show, Rich Keefe, is interested in checking out. Are you going to check that out?
I mean, I think so. Like I said, as long as Tom King is staying away from Batman and Catwoman, I generally like his stuff.
The Unstoppable Doom Patrol issue 5, Night Terrors issue 4, and then again with all the events for Night Terrors, the second issue of individual titles. For that, we have Detective Comics, Titans, Action Comics, Harley Quinn, and Angel Breaker. And the only reason I didn't read Night Terrors issue 4 wasn't because of anything to do with priorities. It's just that something was wrong with it. I couldn't read it on my iPad, and I only could do it on the computer, and it was very frustrating. I'd rather wait till I get the single issue and do that. And there was another thing that I really, really wanted to read, and it really bummed me out that I couldn't read it on my iPad. But you got a chance to read it.
Yes, and that would be Dark Knights of Steel, issue 12, written by Tom Taylor with art by Yasmin Putri. This is the finale. This is the last issue, and I read that book today, and we love this series. Absolutely excellent. We love what Taylor did, sort of taking these, classic characters and kind of turning them on the head, putting them in a medieval setting. And there was a lot of really great twists and turns. This was a really great story, start to finish. Part of the problem, though, that it unfortunately suffered from the first arc went at a normal sort of pace. You had an issue a month, and then the second arc took about a year to complete. So when I read the finale, it had been some months since the last issue, and just in general, it took a little bit more refreshing, not a ton, just a little more refreshing of, oh shoot, yep, that's right, that's what's going on here. But I thought he put a great bow on the end of this series. This is something that he can totally spin off of and do more stuff with if he were to choose, which I would love. It kind of sets it up, that if he wanted to do more, he could. But I love the way he interpreted these characters in this setting. Especially some of the way some of the story sort of came together. And then like the end sort of sets up like, we've been spoiler free here since, a long time.
Yeah.
Doc, I've done a pretty damn good job, so I don't want to
Yes.
spoil anything. This is a very excellent book. I just wish that the release had been a little bit tighter. Who knows what the delays? It could have been anything. Could have been personal reasons. I know there was some artist, changes a couple of times throughout the way. So I don't want to speculate as to why it just took
Yeah.
so long. But that definitely did I just
Impact things for yep.
this is something that was so good, and it was top of the pile reading each week. And when you have to wait so long, sometimes it can, having that recall not be as sharp as it used to be,
Yeah.
at 41 years of age. But that doesn't mean I dislike the book at all. This was an excellent series, and an excellent finale. It just suffered from that one little thing, but
Yeah.
that's a minor gripe.
That is it's still, you don't want to see that kind of stuff happen. But yeah, Tom Taylor's kind of alluded to doing more stuff in this world possibly. So if that happens, I'm here for it. I'm ready to check it out.
It's set up that way, and there's so many things he can do, with this series now, which is great. And whether it's just 6 issues, 6 issue series here, 6 issue series there, a little spin off here, a little spin off there. Great. I love how he's tackled these characters, his understanding of these characters by putting them in the roles they were in. It was excellent stuff.
Yeah, I cannot wait to finish this off myself personally. One book though that I made sure to absolutely read in preparation for this week's episode was Ribbon Queen issue 2. Garth Ennis, Jason Burrows talked about it last time, and as we were discussing it last time, I realized like Jason Burrows, like I knew the name from somewhere, and I was like, wait a second, they did Cross together, and you guys have heard me talk about Cross, and it's very very fucked up, both from a story standpoint and from a visual standpoint. And Ribbon Queen is very much on that path. it's not quite as the story is not like nearly as fucked up as Cross is. Like it's totally different in that regard. It's like doesn't mean it's not interesting. It's just not that bizarre, I guess, in that way. But from a visual standpoint, like like the art has been jarring. Like I'm looking at the big spread that we get like on page 2 and 3, and it's a lot to take in. And then you get some more of that craziness as things go along. We get a little bit more insight to the story and what's going on with the character who's in question, who seemed to have some stuff done wrong to her, and we learn a little bit more about her at the end of the first issue, and then we learn a little bit more about her here. And at the center of it all is Amy, the detective, who's trying to put all the pieces together, and she continues to be under fire as well. And what I'm starting to kind of realize is that she may have opened up a can that like she's not going to be able to shut. And it's a little it's like and it's fucked up. Like the visuals for this are just absolutely batshit. And yeah. I don't think this is something that could be turned into a show or movie live action because of how jarring the visuals are. Let me put it that way. Cross is the same way.
Okay, good. I'm glad you're reading it first then, so I have that mental preparation before I dive in, because another book we're going to talk about this week that I had to stop reading and finish in the light of day.
Oh yeah, so I'm excited to hear more about that.
But I can't wait to read this. This is again AW. I don't think AWA's missed all year.
Yeah. Then we go over to boom. We have Creed, the next round, issue 3, Magic the Gathering, Planeswalkers, Notorious, issue 1, and then Mighty Morphin Power Rangers, issue 111 by friend of the show, Melissa Flores and Simona Di Gianfelice. And I haven't talked enough about D. Gianfelice's artwork on this series, but she's doing an outstanding job. This is a great pair, and there's a certain aesthetic that comes with these Power Ranger books, whether you're talking about Kyle or Ryan or Matt Groom, like all their runs, like there's a similar vibe to the art, and it's perfect too. Like it's different still, like with each of the artists that we've seen thrown in the mix, but still, like it very much feels like the proper evolution of these characters in art form. And then again, I say it all the time from a story standpoint. Like if you like Power Rangers as a kid, if you still romanticize about it, I'm not saying don't go watch the shows, but like that romanticized feeling is you're gonna lose it a little bit. Just go read the comics.
If you don't use it, do you lose it?
I don't know if I can speak to that because I did use it. But the story that's going on here, this is the start of the darkest hour, and Rita Repulsa is kind of like she's kind of getting her way. So that's not good for the Rangers. So they're putting some interesting spots, and Melissa Flores is pulling some interesting levers and putting some characters in serious risk of more than just harm, I guess is the best way to put it.
Like that. I'm not a big Power Rangers guy, but the more and more you talk about Misty's run here, the more and more interested I'm getting. So
yeah, there's
definitely worth checking out.
She's done an awesome job. Ryan did a great job. Matt did a good job, and Kyle obviously is the one who like started it all. There's a lot to take in. I get it's 111 issues, but telling you guys it would be a worthwhile investment. But anyways, let's see. We got a few title companies we got to roll through before we get to the final one where we have a ton to talk about. You want to take us through them all, Joe?
Yeah, I'll rip through some of these bitches here. So from Dark Horse, we have The Oddly Pedestrian Life of Christopher Chaos, issue 3. This is getting better and better. This is a James Tynan idea written by Tate Bromble. And this is getting out there. It's getting funky. It's getting good. The sci-fi, the mystery aspect, everything about it. This is definitely a fun book to read and to hopefully talk about soon. And then we have Stranger Things, Tales from Hawkins, issue 3. From IDW, we have TMNT, Stranger Things, issue 2. Out.
All right.
It was a fun first issue, but just not for me. But if you're 10, 11, 12, 13, somewhere in that range, and you're into those two things, that's the book for you. You'll enjoy it very much. Star Trek issue 11, Earth Divers issue 9, The Rocketeer in the Den of Thieves issue 2, The Addams Family, The Bodies issue 1, and then My Little Pony Classics Reimagined, The Unicorn of Odd issue 1.
Ooh.
From Skybound, an imprint of Image, The Ice Cream Store. We have The Summoner's War Awakening issue 5 and Firepower issue 26. From Dynamite, we have Darkwing Duck issue 8. Let's fucking go, Darkwing Duck. And then King Kong, The Great War issue 3. From Millar World. This is a book I am dying to get my hands on. We don't get review copies of Millar World stuff. But the first issue was absolutely fucking bangarang. And I am not even like I've never really read most of the characters of this crossover event that's going on here, but I'm familiar enough. But it was fucking excellent, man, because I have been reading more Millar stuff lately. So there's a good chunk of the characters I am familiar with and do have a connection with. So that's going to be fantastic.
The title is Big Game, everybody. Joe didn't say it.
Big Game I say?
Too. You didn't say it.
I just got right into it.
That's how excited.
That's how fucking excited I am. Jesus, Big Game.
Pet it, love it, and
you can get a good look at a cowboy sticking your head up a butcher's ass.
Not here or right here, but right here. No, don't say nothing.
No.
What happened to your face? I knew it.
Tom, you want wingy?
Just want to take the wheel and drive into a goddamn bridge compartment. I can't believe you called me a psycho. I use that one daily. And I think the bridge compartment one all the time. I'm sorry?
Herbie Hancock.
Your head's a thick candy shell. Shut up, Richard.
Ketchup packet.
That guy in a little coat.
Oh, I'll be doing that at your wedding.
That's not what I heard.
Yeah. Anyways, let's get this fucking thing back on the rails here. So Image has been fairly light for the past month, couple titles here, couple titles there. Great titles, but just this week, man, they said, you know what? You guys aren't fucking reading enough. We're going to make you read all the goddamn books this week.
For real.
So we have, here are the ones that we're not going to talk about. Ice Cream Man, issue 36. Time Before Time, issue 26. Indigo Children, issue 6. Battle Chasers, issue 12, which Nicholas is reading. Dead Romans, issue 6. Click, Click, Boom, issue 3. Terror War, issue 5. Scrapper, issue 2. Immortal Sergeant, issue 8. Tales of Suspense, issue 2. And just briefly, King Spawn, issue 25. This was an issue where you're sitting there going, fuck, Spawn's fucked. He's really fucked. And you know better. As a reader of Spawn, you should always know better that Spawn is not fucked. But I'm sitting there, and Sean had me. He had me. Oh, he's fucked. And nope, he is not fucked. And the way that this issue started, it was a little slower. The pacing was a little slower. And then you get to about the halfway point, and it ends with a fucking bang. Absolutely terrific issue.
Dude, the artwork, Javier Fernandez, we talk about it all the time. We're like broken records at this point, but seriously, it's so fucking good. The splashes that you're getting in here are phenomenal. I mean, also you just look at that first page and it's like Clown and Spawn facing off. It's like, all right, shit's about to happen. Like it looks like straight like out of a like Mortal Kombat like fighter game.
And that one, I don't want to spoil anything, but the one scene you don't fucking see coming. You get a good, a nice little explosion, if you will.
Yep,
nice little explosion.
Yeah, there's a lot of unexpected shit here. A lot of amazing visuals, and also like the covers for this too. Like Javi does a cover, but then the main one is Fede Mele, I believe is how you say it.
That's my favorite one. That's the one I used on the Instagram post.
The reflection one.
Yeah,
that's really cool.
Just tremendous. This book has just month in and month out. I think really the art across all of the Spawn books, outside of the main line, King Spawn, Gunslinger Spawn, the Scorch, the art has just been excellent,
Yeah,
absolutely excellent.
yeah. I mean, you got some crazy names attached to these
Yeah,
titles. I mean, Booth, Fernandez, and Segovia. They have their
there
own
you go,
styles, but they all fit, and it's oh man, yeah.
and they rip, and they rip. So,
Whew. All right.
do you start us off here, Nicholas? You
Okay,
start us
cool.
off.
All right, so I think I think that we should start off with the number one that's here, or one that we've talked about on this show already that you and I got a chance to read ahead of everybody else because Ryan Stegman made his return to the show. That is the Schlub issue one. Of course, you can go and check out our Fireside chat with Ryan Stegman if you haven't listened to that already. Always a good time chatting with them. We talked about Vanish a little bit as well. This is by Stegman, Kenny Porter, Tyrell Cannon, and then Mark Spicer is the colorist, and John J. Hill is the letterer here. And basically, this is what happens if this is Dr. Joe Gilmore meets Invasion of the Body Snatchers, or no, not Invasion of the Body Snatchers, but it's a Freaky Friday. That's what it is. So it's Dr. Joe meets Freaky Friday and like Superman, right?
Yeah, yeah. I'm Jamie Lee Curtis.
Yes,
I'm
of course.
jumping to. I'm jumping into Superman's body. No, this is great. This is this was this was a fun book to read. I would definitely recommend going back and checking out our chat with Stegman that came out recently. It was a lot of fun to talk to him about that book and just sort of where the idea came from and the genesis of it and his love for those types of movies, like those bodies switching
Yeah,
type of movies. And there was some great action scenes. The art was enjoyable. Oh man, there right off the bat, you just get this panel because the guy, the main character, he's a schlub. He's a dentist. And when we talk about anti-dentites,
yep.
in the chat, but you just get this great, you see shot of like inside this dude's gnarly mouth. And but there's great action scenes. It's a great story. There's some fucking family issues to be
Yeah.
had here. So a little bit of everything for everyone.
Yeah, and as we talked about, like as you read it, it's like there's a lot of as you would hope, a lot of uncertainty at the end of the issue, in the best of ways. And after talking to Ryan about it more, like I really like the way he feels about dentists and stuff like that. It's like I don't know where this is going to go with this character as he gets his like this opportunity. Because we see what happens at the end of the first issue, and it's like it's probably going to get worse before it gets
Yeah.
better.
Yeah. Rabid anti-dentite.
Yeah. Yeah. All right. Where do you want to take us next?
You know what? Let's do this here. Let's go to Rogue Sun
Yes.
by Ryan Parrott and Abel. And I think this is a tricky thing because I love all of these fucking books this week. It is very hard to pick a favorite, but I love this one. Absolutely loved this issue of Rogue Sun because we get a lot of different dynamics here and in great Parrot fashion, especially as we've seen over the last several issues. You get the heel turn that you don't expect because you're going down one path and bam, and Ryan's able to sort of make that pivot on a character so well and so flawless that you
Mm,
don't see it coming. And when it does happen, you go, fuck, no,
mm.
God damn it,
No, 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 no.
because like Dylan has been such an interesting character. And when we first had Ryan on to talk about this book, he said, Dylan's gonna, you're gonna see him grow, you're gonna see him change, but he's just,
Are
he
we?
plays
I don't know.
well, he plays the prick so well, but he has those flashes, right?
Yeah.
There's moments, and I think we got some really good human moments from him in this issue. Because on one hand, he's like, well, yeah, well, fuck you. This guy's gonna, I'm gonna follow this guy here. And then, but he actually had like some sound reasoning at some points, through it. And he was actually trying to stop, get in between a father and son having a fucking fight,
Mm,
despite him having issues with his own fight. I don't know. There was just a lot of things here where I saw some bits of Dylan. I was like, okay, there's the redeemable guy that I'm rooting for, that I
mhm,
want to see like flip that switch, and if we ever get it right, if he ever gets that Sunstone back and becomes Rogue Sun again, I want to see flip that switch and then just take himself and the character to a level that, maybe none of the other Rogue Sons before him have been able to reach.
Mm-hmm.
So we get some great action, some beautiful art in this book. It was absolutely fantastic.
I think your logic makes a lot of sense, but at the same time, if I've learned anything from reading so much of his work, I don't trust Ryan because what is he also doing? He's also basically taking an asshole and surrounding him with even bigger assholes.
Right.
And like what does that do to the guy who's like kind of an asshole? Makes him
Makes
look
him
like
look
a
like,
pretty
yeah, that's true. Yeah.
yeah. So then what happens when he has the chance to be the biggest asshole in the room? He's going to take advantage of that situation. I don't know. So like
See?
that's where you can't. And it's just so good about him. Like you can't trust him as a writer.
Yeah. That's the difference between the two of us too, is that, you're Team Nathan, I'm Team Marshall. I want to see the redemption, from these characters.
I don't trust
Right?
that Marshall's going to get redeemed. I think Marshall's going to turn into a bad guy. I very much have felt that for a
No.
while
See,
now.
I see flash of that Nathan. I do.
Oh,
I do.
okay.
Yeah.
Well, what I
That whole trippy sequence from I can't remember what issues it was in, but him flirting with say fuck you guys, I want to go back to I don't know. There's something in there. I think there's something. I think he's been beaten down just
okay.
enough. He could turn.
The last thing I want to say about Rogue Sun before we move on to some of these other Image books that we want to touch on, Ryan has instructed or requested that we talk more sports. So you brought up before, like this turn that we get in this. I would say I don't know if it reminded you of anything in sports, maybe in wrestling, but for me, it felt very similar to like Johnny Damon going to the Yankees. That's kind of how I felt about it in that moment. So I could even say maybe Ray Allen going to the Heat, but I still think it's more Damon.
Well, so I'll say Ray Allen going to the Heat pissed me off more than Johnny Damon going to the Yankees.
Mm.
For some reason, I didn't give a shit about Johnny Damon going to the Yankees.
Hmm.
Just like I didn't give a shit when Jacoby Ellsbury went to the Yankees.
Well, yeah, everybody knows she was. Yeah.
Like by the time that Damon left, he had already sort of outlasted his usefulness. There needed to be a change, and I was never really a huge Johnny Damon guy.
See, I read his book and everything. Idiot. Ironic. Well, look at me.
Yeah. I got pissed when Ray Allen went to the Heat, though. That really put a chap in my ass. Other players going to the Yankees from the Red Sox.
Johnny, you're like time is being kind to you. Johnny Damon was an all-star in his last season with the Red Sox, and then he left. He hit 316.
Yeah, but I think I was over the whole idiot thing. I think that's really what I kind of meant. I was over the whole,
Gotcha.
I was ready.
Ray Allen pissed me off though, because I've been a Ray Allen guy. I'm not a UConn fan, but I was a Ray Allen guy since he was on the Bucks. And when he did that, I'm like, you've got to be kidding me. Go anywhere else but to play with LeBron. So I could go either way. Yeah, no, but it's so yeah. Okay, so there you go, Ryan. We've done our service for you. Let's see. All right, I'm picking next here. I'm going to keep the off and on Masterverse pattern going here. I'm going to go with a little ditty called Newburn. Issue 10 of that is out this week by the man known as My Chip.
Your Chip.
Or your Chip. I don't know. Who's Chip? Who's to say? Of course, the artist is Jacob Phillips.
The people's Chip.
Color assistant on this is Pip Martin, and I'll tell you what, this is getting fucking crazy. Like
it's getting real good, and it was already real good.
This has been like there is no like fat on this on Newburn whatsoever. We talked about it when we had Chip on. I think we had access to the first 5 issues, and you could read each individual one and not have read the others, and you would be fine. It kind of set the tone. Maybe read the first one and then be fine with the other ones. But now there's this larger story that's kind of starting to take shape, and it's really, really good because he's been painted in a quarter a couple times, but now it's like he's in a quarter, and usually the claws don't come out, but now they have.
Well, this was the best. This was your classic case of an overused sports term, especially here in New England. He's playing chess while everyone else is playing checkers. Right from the first pages, you could feel the walls closing in on our characters, on all of them. And what's the woman's name there?
Emily?
His assistant, Emily. Thank you. she's sitting down there with the reporter. The reporter's like, you could tell she's digging. She's onto something with her past, as we got, in the last arc of Newburn.
Yeah.
And then like we started this arc with the mafia families not being, sort of like, okay, Newburn, you're starting to burn some fucking bridges here, buddy, and we're not very happy about it. And then you know what he does? It's fuck you, fuck you, fuck you, fuck you. I'm in, baby, and there ain't anything you can do about it. It was excellent,
He's pushed.
absolutely excellent.
He's pushed all his chips in. Some would say.
Yeah. Oh, I see what you did there. Chip pushes. Yeah. Oh, yeah. That was. Oh, is Lauren pregnant? You got the dad jokes. At the ready. That was tremendous. That was
Thank
great
you.
shit.
Thank you very much. All right, but yeah, Newburn, awesome stuff. Can't miss. Obviously, Chip's doing, not doing Daredevil anymore, but he's still doing Batman. But and he's got the new Image series that's out that he had been doing on Substack previously. But the between Newburn and Public Domain, like those two, like his most recent stuff, his Image has been top notch. I haven't checked out his other title yet that just started at Image, but I'm very excited to look into that one.
Yeah, Capterra, I believe.
There you go, Capterra. All right, what do you got for me?
Okay, so Jesus. Okay, we're gonna talk about
Oh my God,
Andrea Sorrentino.
Sorry, Joe, you froze out on me. Can you say that again, please?
Yep. Okay, I'm back, baby.
Yep.
We're going Bone Orchard Mythos. Okay, Jeff Lemire, Andrea Sorrentino, and Dave Stewart. This trio of motherfuckers scaring the shit out of me. So this is Tenement issue 3. I mean, the first 2 issues have been creepy as hell, and when Lemire is teamed up with Sorrentino, those two are just like they work so well together, and when it comes to creating horror, it's absolutely banana land, because you've got Lemire's writing and his ability to tell a story and get you connected to these characters, and you mix that with Sorrentino's abstract art, and you get these wild panels, and you get these creepy looking fucking. It's to me, it is horror at its best, because I am literally reading this page to page going, what the fuck's gonna happen? What the fuck's gonna happen? And I sent you and Rich Keefe of the Dork program a screenshot of a panel that made me shut the iPad down for the night and wait to finish it in the morning.
That's good shit right there.
Yeah, because this story where the last issue ended off, it's all in this one sort of tenement, apartment building, and some weird shit's happening, in the first issue. The second issue ends where a little boy kind of goes missing. They're looking for him, and they open up this door into this guy's apartment who had, jumped, who killed himself in the first issue. And then all of a sudden it's like looking into the upside down. So these characters are looking into the upside down. And they've got nowhere to go but to venture in. And throughout this issue, they're sort of, they're trying to find the little boy. They're entering in, and it just says like level 7. And so my mind automatically goes to how many fucking circles of hell were there in Dante's Inferno? And there was 9, but this gave me that kind of vibe. Like these characters are now going to have to sort of go through, these 7 layers of hell, so to speak. And just there was this one panel that it just fucking terrified me. If you're reading the book, you'll know it when you see it, but absolutely excellent. I mean, this is what horror is supposed to do. I can't do horror movies because I hate jump scares. Because like I'm the target audience for that, just like I'm the target audience for DraftKings. They're there to take my money, right? Horror movies with jump scares are to get me to jump through the fucking roof, and I do it, and I fucking hate it. At least with the comic book, I can put it down and wait till the next day. But that's what it does so well, is it elicits that emotional response from you. It creates that feeling of terror, or what the fuck am I reading? So I can't wait to talk about this book.
I think it's interesting too, like when you the way you put it, where yes, you can put it down, but like I as you said that, I'm thinking like, okay, so with jump, like what's the jump scare kind of equivalent in a comic for me? And it's just when you get that image that scares the fucking shit out of me and sends a chill down my spine. Like like stuff in movies, it's like, whoa, like it scares the piss out of me, and like I'm terrified in that moment. Like I gotta look away, like look at a corner of the screen or whatever, because I get scared shitless too. Don't get me wrong, but when it's a comic, like I'm thinking about Bunny Mask right now, and it's like I'm getting like a little shiver down my spine, like that shit, like the really good stuff there. That's the impact that it always has on me. It's
The shit that's gonna keep me up at night, you know.
yes, yeah, 100%. All right. So we got two Massiverse titles left that we want to touch on. I'm gonna go to the one that I've been raving about, the one that I was supposed to be able to talk about on this show at some point that I called dibs on, but I got screwed out of because we just had to have Kyle Higgins back on the show.
You booked the guests, buddy. Right? That's on you.
You know what, Joe? I hate when you're right. It doesn't happen often. But anyways, we have No One, issue 5. And there's a lot to talk about with this issue, and I will let you delve in on a few things. But I need to, I don't qualify. I'm not a journalist anymore with what I do at DraftKings. That is not what I am.
Were you ever really?
Well, some could say not. Hey, I wrote sports, so I mean, you could argue that wasn't the case. But the conversation that they have in this boardroom after you learn this new development in the No One Richer Row saga, this huge mic drop thing that happens on the first page that came out of nowhere, as far as I'm concerned, right? That came out of nowhere. Okay.
Yeah.
The conversation that's had in that boardroom with the Pittsburgh Ledger, I like felt the pain of Miss Page in this story because it's just like these fucking idiots are like not as invested as she is in all the work that she's done, and they're telling her what the fuck to do, and they have zero clue. And then by the end of it, they thankfully are exposed because at least the publisher or whoever, or the editor in chief, whatever it is, finally asked a question that like exposed the biggest jackass in the room who was going to somehow have fucking say over what's going on. So I very much like, and I think anybody who's been in like a corporate situation can feel something similar to that. But being in that field previously, it was like, oh God, what the fuck, man? Like everybody's dealt with that before in that field. So, but there was a whole lot else. Like we got a ton of action from No One, which is like the most that we've had to this point. No?
Yeah, I think so. The most we've seen sort of the quote unquote titular character, if you will. And but yeah, that whole thing, because I'm all caught up. So I'm reading those first several panels, or first several pages, I should say, and I'm reading and picturing the podcast in the back of my head, right? Because that's sort of, I feel like when the podcast drops later this week, they're going to touch on that, right? There's going to be dialogue between the two characters there, and I was half expecting Miss Page to quit. That's kind of what I wanted there.
Oh yeah.
Right? Yep. And but it does it, and the story takes a couple of really great twists. So again, this is a book that we're not going to hide. We're not going to hide how we feel about it. I mean, it's up for consideration for Book of the Year.
100%.
And that's in large part due to the podcast as well. It's just such a fascinating and great way to tell a story by marrying those two, the comic and with an accompanying podcast.
Yeah.
It just elevates the story. Not that it needed like on its own as a comic, it's great.
Yes.
But you have that extra element to it. It just sort of makes it something unique. So this was, again, like I have a hard time picking. Like, what was my favorite book from Image this week? I can't say. I fucking love them all for very different reasons.
No, these are awesome. And yeah, so Julia and Teddy, like, and this is too like one of those instances where you're dealing with a story where the main character, the title character, we see quite a bit, but everything's just about that character and talking about that character, but not really seeing that character. And you can see that quite a bit in horror stories, whether we're talking on the big screen or in an actual like comic or book. But seeing it done here, where it's more of a vigilante story in like crime, like it's different, and it's been done very well. Like this is some awesome stuff from this team. Of course, that's Kyle Higgins, Brian Bucatello, and Geraldo Borges. Just awesome stuff. The art too. That's another thing too. Like Geraldo has been doing a great job from start to finish on this series.
Yeah, absolutely tremendous.
All
Absolutely
right,
tremendous.
last one.
Okay, last one. We have The Dead Lucky by Misty Flores and French Carla Mongo. Tremendous. Again, tremendous. Like the Massive Verse is, I think, one of the best things in comics going right now.
Yes.
Period. Right?
Yep.
Like, we talk about like AWA, like they haven't missed this year. Well, neither has the Massive Verse, right?
Mm-hmm.
All these different titles that are coming out, that have come out, that are coming out, right?
Yeah.
Have been excellent, and this is no exception. Again, I love this story. For different reasons. The art in this is beautiful. The storytelling, where Bibiana is going, and again, you're talking about, you know, sort of heel turns and unexpected, things with certain characters. It's absolutely excellent.
Yeah, and again, one thing that we talk about a lot, I know we both talk about this a lot, the character designs. And the reason
Hmm.
why that's brought up here is there's a new character who had entered the mix very recently. Seen this character a little bit before, but now this character's taken a little more center stage last issue, and especially in this issue. The fucking design, I'm assuming French Calamango did this one as well. Oh my god, so cool. Like for that reason alone, I need some more of that character. And obviously, the way things are panning out with this story, we should get quite a bit more, assuming things don't take a crazy, crazy turn. But I absolutely love the design. So really cool stuff from Misty and French Calamango and the rest of their team. But yeah, like we can't say enough good stuff about the Masterverse. And again, they will all tell you don't have to read Radiant Black to read the Dead Lucky or vice versa. However, if you go and read one and like one, you should check out another one, and then you're going to start to notice a pattern that you're dealing with quality across the board. So,
Hmm.
awesome stuff. But yes, I wouldn't hate it if Image just kind of spread some of this out a little bit from week to week. But you know what? Well, not the worst week when we're just doing what's new and we can kind of let our hair down a little bit.
Yeah, we definitely we definitely let our hair down today. That's true. But yeah, those are books we definitely had to talk about in a little bit
Absolutely.
more depth because they were all fantastic.
Yes. So that is going to do it for us this week. Again, make sure you subscribe to the show if you haven't already. Leave a rating and review. It helps the show out a ton. 5 stars only if you're listening on Apple Podcasts and whatever the highest is everywhere else. Please do that. And tell a fellow comic book reader. We do everything that you guys could want. And if we're not, I mean, let us know. But I mean, this is everything I would want in a comic book podcast. Anyways, Joe, until next week, stay sexy.
Yeah, you know it, baby.